say rest in peace, sir.
R.I.P.
All right, and now we're going to close out with just a quick breakdown of the Boston Festival Indie Games. I got to check it out. Johnny, were you there, my friend?
Oh, I was there.
Johnny was there in full effect. He was going to give us his impressions because he had a lot to say.
We both have a lot to say.
Yeah,
man.
I'm going to try.
Man.
Oh man.
What did I miss? Because I was geared up to go. And family stuff came up. I ain't get no bags. I ain't get my teeth fixed. I ain't even go. Pat told me about this. I should have went. And now I feel like I missed something. So what did I miss, P? What are you excited that's coming out?
It's the easiest question to answer. You missed nothing.
The Boston Festival Indie Games it's a smaller. It's getting pretty much to be its own convention now. It's an exposition of a lot of local indie developers. Not even local. Like some folks have flown in from New York, from Philadelphia.
Someone flown in from New York. I'm like, that's a 45-minute flight.
Exactly. Yeah, you made that drive boring as hell through like back roads and stuff. I'll fly. I'll take the sucker. Yeah. But cats come in from out of town. They travel for this exhibition. It's gotten that big now, and you always hope to see like some really good stuff. And I honestly was kind of disappointed this time around, man, because and I understand why. This is my theory, at least. And Johnny, you can tell me if you can back me up or tell me if I'm off the mark here. There was a lot of new developers at this year's festival, and I don't mean new developers and new talent. They were new, but also new to demonstrating their product. So there wasn't a lot of thought given to several different people might want to play my game at once. A lot of thought given to how am I properly going to convey what this game is about to anyone who's new to it without having them sit down and just like read whatever tutorial I had someone write for me. Can I break it down in a quick a few sentences and let them get them interested as they walk by, because there's tons of other stuff here to see. Do I have stuff for them to see, or is it just a laptop set up on an empty table? And they really have nothing to draw them to it, And am I into the game? There were several folks there who, I mean, it's honestly, to me at least, it seems like they didn't want, my business, my attention, anything. They were just there. If you want to play it, fine. If you don't, screw up. It was very
professional.
It was, a lot of it was unprofessional, not sociable.
Unprofessional, but
which is unfortunate.
Not in an offensive way. It's not like they were, being bad presenters and being rude or anything like that. It was very amateur, right?
So it's not polished.
Not polished. It's amateur. I mean, it's reminiscent of or indicative of what the games that were there, and the majority of stuff that was there was student projects.
Yeah, that's the problem. And as much as I hate to speak ill of this convention, they've been very good to us. We've actually been following them since the very beginning in that first year when it really was all student projects. They had a few classrooms opened up and they set up PCs and the students ran projects, and a couple of companies showcased there. But it was hot. It was just like It was great muggy
for the first few years,
Yeah, and this was a huge step back. I mean, the convention, the festival themselves, the staff was on point. They've learned a lot from previous years, and their setup was much better than it has been in the past. But still, things like the top floor being way too hot. You can't spend too much time in there, and it makes for an uncomfortable environment.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they learned from.
Well, in other areas, like there was a much better exchange with the people getting badges and stuff. Downstairs was far better run.
Well, that was the same thing that they had last year. So this year and last year was almost identical in setup and sort of how everything's were sort of structured. I think last year and the year before was a bit different, but this year and last year felt almost exactly the same. Even the heat issue that you brought up was exactly the same thing. Last year it was way too hot, and this year it was way too hot. This year was
too hot. It was less hot. Like last year, I remember it was muggy. I couldn't breathe, and this year I was just uncomfortable.
I was sweating.
All right. Well, you had a jacket on for
I took off my jacket.
All right. Well, I thought they did do better. They added more stuff besides just the gaming floors. Like there was Quidditch over. They were using more of the space too.
Yeah, that was cool.
We actually got some footage of that. Not as much as I was hoping, unfortunately, because by the time we got there, the people had been going for a while, so they were tired. But it's good that they've expanded what's available to to the attendees to check out, but it's the companies that were presenting games which were really the downside, which is unfortunate because I hate to speak ill of just fledgling developers on the hustle.
Well, yeah, right. So it was barely companies because these were very much studios that were formed for the sake of either a school project or a school part of a curriculum for a particular class or a set of classes. Okay. So, I mean, I would have to say more than half of these projects were student-led projects, not something that is being explored as a professional level thing. Not to say that these aren't going to hit some sort of platform for sale or for distribution of some sort. Most of these things, I mean, most of the people here there were trying to present it as something that would be available on Steam or on the iOS store or what have you.
Yeah.
It's just
the sense was heavily on previews. Like you're getting an early look at this, which is cool if I'm getting an early look at something finished. And that was one of the main problems. A lot of this stuff that we saw there was unfinished.
Right.
Unfinished, unpolished. They didn't have demo worthy games available.
Yeah, most of the stuff, and it was like that last year, and it was like that the year before. It seems like
they had a better sense of it, though. That's the problem.
Last year they did, and then the year before that, it was even better. It seems like they've been de-escalating on the sizing of this and the amount of sort of attention that's being brought to the Boston Fig, because last year was bigger than this year. The year before that was way bigger than last year's, and obviously way bigger than this year. Like they had bigger studios, actually identifiable, some studios that you actually recognize that were actually fairly big doing presentations.
That's a complaint I can't get behind, because I like the concept of the Festival Indie Games focusing mainly on smaller independent developers, but they have to know to get their stuff, like get their game on, get their stuff ready before they can actually present it. That's the problem.
Right.
I love giving attention to the smaller developers, to the indies, indies proper, but they suffer from, I guess, a lack of maybe the experience presenting.
It is a lack of experience presenting, and don't get me wrong, I don't want this to ever change from being, very early student projects, very much indie game projects.
Because it sounded like you were vying for a sponsorship from Mitsubishi, and I think that's messed up.
It's one of those things that you want to have at least some big hitters there, just for the sake of drawing the attention, bringing in the media, bringing in the bigger crowds, right? And then they experience all the other projects that are out and about, these smaller student-led projects or very small indie game studio projects. I love that. That needs to happen, but they still need to have like Unity, right? Have the Unity engine, the team that sort of handles that. Have them have their own booth. They didn't have a booth. Have Valve or something like that show off VR or something, or do something about Steam. Like have some fairly big individual that or company that is well recognized, but also is supportive of the indie scene. Like they need to get someone, some big companies.
They need to have more support in that realm.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, we covered the negatives. I do have to call it a couple positives, because when we finally did get to play games, one of the main ones that really jumped out at me was it's a VR game, which I'm a little bummed you may have gotten to check it out, because we split off and roamed on our own. Did you check out Kung Fu Shadow Fist?
I watched people play that,
and
it looked absolutely ridiculous.
It was fun as hell. It's this game for the Vive called Kung Fu Shadow Fist, and they just throw a ton of like crash test dummies at you. You get the controllers; these are your fists. You get the visor. That's your view, and then you literally just have to just fight them all. And that's it. There's no mission. There's no sense of mission. You move to this part of the map, they come at you, you fight them. You move to this part of the map, they come at you, you fight them. You get on a train, you're in an enclosed space now, and they're just coming at you. And the game, when you quote unquote die, you don't like fall or anything. It keeps it like real old school. You die when they get that final hit in, and it freezes for a second, when you die. So it's like you won't really know what hit you because it's pretty much like a VR crowd battle game.
Yeah.
And when you quote unquote die, and this happened to be a bunch, it's like I'm fighting off a bunch of guys. I think I'm doing good. I'm throwing haymakers and stuff, and you get tired as hell in like fast. And then it's like, why the hell did it stop? What's going on? And you turn around, and like one dude behind you has his fist like right in your face, and it freezes right there. Like, this is the guy that clocked you and took you out, punched you in the back of the head. So it's like you have to be aware. It's like it'll go from nothing to just you fighting the gang. And I don't know why that was so fun. If that was any other like gaming style, if that was like a platform game, it's like being in a final fight. You're like, why the hell are 9 guys coming at me at once from all angles? I can't keep up with this. Apparently, being in the middle of that in VR and just like swinging wildly and seeing them fall over and stuff is fun. I enjoyed the short time.
For the people watching a person playing, because the person playing looks like, well, they look like an idiot, just swinging their hands all over the place, going.
Yeah,
it's like they're trying to like do like Mrs. Miyagi wax on, wax off, but like
making noises
on crack. Like they're shaking their hands like they have pom poms. They're like shaking pom poms at the air all over the place. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, I can't imagine how I was
Hilarious.
looking. Now when I got up there, because the dude did try to. He's like, you're press. I know you let me bring you up because we do have a line of people waiting, but I want to make sure you at least get a sense to see it. And try to have my back. The problem is he's trying to move some like 10-year-old kid that was next in line out the way. He's like, no. We got to let this grown ass man go. Sorry, little Timmy. You're like, no, don't do that. No, you go ahead, little boy. You go right up ahead. Like,
did he old school palm his face like in old school? He palmed his face.
No. He was just doing the on his chest. Move along, son. Move along. And I'm like, don't do that. And here's why I messed up.
Did you have as that dildo?
No.
As you walking up.
Here's what happened. I'm like, what? How you gonna move this little kid? No, here, little boy. Let me help you up, and you get a taste of this gaming goodness. I know you've been waiting a while.
Is that what happened?
And so that's what happened. And then I'm like, and then while they're putting the thing on him, and he's like, yeah, Pat, that kid's been on like 6 times already. We won. I'm just like, what? You couldn't tell me this like 10 seconds ago. He's already got like the visor on, and they're starting.
I saw that kid. You know, I didn't see when you were there, but I saw that. You
saw that little punk
with the pom pom just shaking his hands.
Yeah, this little weirdo over there. Here I am thinking, there's this poor little boy's been waiting. Please, sir, can I play this game? And man,
like he's Tiny Tim, but he's
really like
friggin' Chucky.
Yeah, friggin' Junior from Problem Child and stuff. But the game was fun. That was the highlight of my day.
That's not a problem for you, though. That was a problem of the presenters not having an extra set to show off.
No, true. They had a fun game. If they had 2 or 3 vibes, I understand the equipment is expensive, but when you have a game like that, like I would buy this thing. I don't know how much longevity it would have, but like if they had more than one set, they could have gotten a lot more people playing, a lot more coverage, and they would have blown everyone else. Yeah. Like a lot of people had.
Almost every other booth didn't have additional. They only had like 1 demo unit or maybe 2 demo units, and they didn't have anything reserved for press or anything like that.
So it's the Boston Festival Indie Games, and we mentioned on the announcement that this is possibly the last because they made they dropped a pretty big bomb on us. It's no longer just the Boston Festival Indie Games. They've done so well in the past few years that from now on it will just be the FIG. The Festival of Indie Games, and they used this year as an example where a lot of companies that were there came from not just Boston, not just Massachusetts, not just the Northeast even, so people are coming in from other places. They're traveling for this event itself, so it's gotten that big where they're rebranding, and it will now be the FIG, the Festival of Indie Games, from now on. New logo and everything. So we look forward to seeing them step their game up, get some new companies in, and hopefully do big things in the future.
I'm going to PAX. We get all that.
All right. And on that note, this has been the Geek Down here on WMF Radio. Check us out at geek-down.com. Hopefully you're checking us out. You're following us on Facebook and on